night, night.
You mind doing that again?
Night, 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 and night, night, night.
No, it's more like night, 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 night. And the goddamn freaking potion people are throwing shit at me.
It's just like Crash Team Racing.
I know Brandon keeps saying that. Yeah, Brandon left after this video, after the last video. So now it's just me and Jesse, unless Vandalia comes in later. I'm almost getting the feeling I need to just finish this game so that way I can just upload the videos. This way I have freaking videos that aren't going to take much to edit. And then I can edit Vandalia's videos and do a bit more with those, make a little money.
The good thing about me is that what I'm doing for Vandalia is basically free trial. My plan is to re-thumbnail every Talking Time with Caffeine episode.
Are you gonna charge him for it? I hope you, me, and Mario don't make him go broke.
No, I'm doing the entire season 6 free, which is the largest season. Okay. And like half of all of it.
I mean, I'd imagine you do every new podcast episode for nothing, so this is only for the older episodes.
Yeah. And each thumbnail will only be like...
See, that's kind of what I... Oh, sorry. It's just... That's kind of what I do. Like, apparently, it seems MarioTube had charges for every time he edits. If I have to re-edit something after the video's done, I've offered to do that for nothing.
Yeah. But for season 5 through 1, or for 1 through 5, I'm gonna be charging $1 or $2 per thumbnail, something along that line. $1 for Merlin.
Do you know the $1 for Merlin song, or were you even there?
Todd, please. Sorry, what?
Do you know the $1 for Merlin song?
$1 for Merlin. $1 for Merlin.
Did I know you when I did that?
I don't think so.
Wow. I think that was like just before Brandon brought you in. Well, that was like back in April, and that's when Brandon still didn't like Splatoon.
Yeah, we didn't get into Splatoon for like a month or two.
I mean, are you a devout fan of Splatoon, kind of like what Mario, Tube, and Brandon are like?
I'm gonna be honest. No.
No?
Not really.
Because I get the feeling... I get the feeling I'll probably like the game, but I might not be religious about it.
Like, I like the game. I just don't play it as often as they do. Like, they really like it.
Yeah, like, I mean, then again, more I think about it, the one podcast episode where Adam actually abruptly cut into one of our speeches just to do a harng about the Splatfest, and Brandon was like, ooh, good match, good match. Like, I thought you were joining in, but then you were just kind of silent. Maybe you were speaking a little bit, but it was the least out of the three of them. Wait a sec.
Yeah, I usually don't talk much when I play because I don't want to interrupt, because I've done that before and I don't really want to do it much anymore.
Well, I mean, I gotta stop interrupting people, too.
Yeah. That's why when people talk and they start talking, I just go silent.
Oh, here's Prince Charming, the guy who got to Photoshop DSP's face on for the sequel.
Did you see the... So, since you got Splatoon 2, and
well,
you're probably
I have to...
playing
Well, the game still has to get delivered to my house.
Oh, yeah, but once you get it, and once you do the fabled live stream, probably...
Yeah, I'm gonna get the DLC, only because the money's in my eShop account.
Did you see my freaking schnickling thumbnail?
Yeah, where you put my freaking face on the girl inkling. Oh god.
When I showed that to Mario too, he was like, "Why?" It's pretty
No,
funny.
he probably went Brandon. He probably went Brandon Briggs, and he was like, "No, no, no, no,
That's
no, no. Why? Why?"
he said no, 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 why? And he started banging his face on a pillow when he saw it, and I'm just like, what? What? And he's
The
like,
video
okay.
I was imitating. So when you know how Brandon broke his copy of Shrek Let's Plays, right? Like the actual copy he was using for his Let's Play, right?
Yeah, he goes too late and crumples it, and then Adam
No,
gets
that wasn't
really.
his actual copy. That was a disc he bought specifically for breaking.
Oh.
But when he was recording Race Mode, there was a time when he actually broke his real copy of the game.
Whoa.
And the thing is, the entire thing was recorded by Mario 2, and let's just say, without going too much into detail, well then again, I probably shouldn't say exactly what happened just out of respect for Brandon. Let's just say, it wasn't pretty.
Whoa.
It was not pretty. I eventually pestered Mario 2 and he gave me a copy of the video. And let's just say the good parts of Brandon's Freakout I kept listening to. In fact, in the freaking Season 5 finale of the podcast, Brandon just says to me, "Gosh, are you kidding me, Schnick? Do you just listen to that to go to bed or something?" Because there are, even though I've never released the video for obvious reasons, sometimes I would play the audio from it as a joke on the podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you want to listen to some of the audio bits that I fell in love with, you just have to track them down.
I've heard that before. Like, I do rewatch a lot of stuff from all of our channels, so I think I've seen it before, or not seen it, but heard it at least before.
But the specific moment where he keeps yelling no, and then he loudly shouts, "Why?" Let's just say in the video itself, well, when he was loudly yelling no, he found the disc, and he held it up to his face, and his hands were shaking, and he ducks out of view of the webcam. And then his webcam cuts out, and it cuts back in as he's walking back towards the webcam. And then when he yells, "Why?" he shows the disc in front of the webcam.
Well,
I mean, off stream and off recording, I could actually show you the video. Because
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'd fully understand if you don't want to see it, because let's just say, a lot of his freak out at first is pretty funny to watch when he's more pissed off, but then gradually, let's just say, it being funny does kind of wear off. Well, as it gets later into the video, it's kind of like Full Metal Jacket. Like, every time you watch Full Metal Jacket, you can't help but laugh at freaking Private Pile messing up at the freaking drill instructor's exercises, but then when it gets to the point where his freaking fellow cadets beat him with freaking bars of soap wrapped in, like, freaking pillowcases, like, that's the part where the movie stops being funny and you kind of feel bad about laughing. Even though rewatching those earlier funny scenes still work. Until you get to that part.
I don't know. It's just, well, rage can be funny in the moment. Going back and just kind of ragging on it just doesn't feel right.
I mean, the funny thing is, the reason why... Do you remember the shitty RPG episode where Mario was finishing the Castle Oblivion part?
That's 7, 8. I don't know.
I
I don't
believe
remember
no.
exactly.
The episode is called "Shitty RPG" because shit happened. Let's just say that episode was recorded immediately after the freakout. The reason why Mario 2 played it was to cheer up Brandon, and because I kept egging him on.
Wow.
And in fact, you'll notice that Brandon's voice is noticeably hoarse. Like, he sounds like he's worn out.
Huh.
Though, he actually does make reference to the video itself, and at the time, he actually gave me, a recording that he himself made of breaking breaking a disc that he printed a label. Like, basically what happened was, after he broke the real game, there was another disc, like one of his blank CDRs. He printed a label of the game and plastered it onto the CDR. The idea was that he was going to do a skit where he broke that CDR. But then, in the midst of his freakout, he decided to break both the CDR and the real game. And he actually took an iPhone video of him breaking the CDR. And he sent it to me in the middle of the stream, where Mario was playing Shitty RPG, and at the time, Brandon was fully supportive of me adding all the clips from the freakout in a freaking director's cut of the Crash Bash YTP. Or no, not YTP, like my edited version of the Crash Bash. But then, gradually, Brandon began to regret his actions, and he requested I not make it public.
Yeah,
So, I mean, he did say he would make the recording public on his website, just not his YouTube.
Interesting. I've had some really bad rage moments off camera, but
I mean, most of
eventually
my rage moments I'm perfectly fine keeping up. Though, if I enter the professional industry or become a celebrity, I might, anything that, even if it's harmless, anything that I think would make me look bad, I would probably make private.
Yeah, that's understandable. A lot of people, or bigger YouTubers, private their older videos because they feel like
Because they
either
don't
one
like
makes them look
they don't
bad.
like their older selves. Like, for the time being, a lot of my older stuff is still available, but I might start to unlist them and make you go to a playlist to watch them, and then they might just become private altogether, but I'll still save copies. And maybe use them as reference. Like, I'm not just gonna erase them.
Yeah, that's erasing them completely off of YouTube. For me, at least, feels like a very bad thing to do.
Yeah, because then you create lost media, and I don't really like the idea of that.
Yeah, losing media just is really dumb for me. Unless it's something so horrible that it's just like, yeah, nah.
Yeah, like, on the Lost Media Wiki, let's just say, there's a lot of lost media on the Lost Media Wiki. I mean, you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff that's been found or partially found. Usually the stuff that's completely lost is recordings of real incidents.
Yeah.
And some of them are actually kind of disturbing. There was this one guy, I think in Germany, who had a fetish for cannibalism.
Oh.
And then he ended up wanting to, he went on a freaking forum, like there was this forum for people to live out, to like describe their cannibalism fantasies, except the thing is, the website itself said that's just what it is, fantasies, not reality.
Oh, and did he record himself eating someone?
Well, the short version is he did, but then the long version is that he was on the forums advertising for a willing victim. Eventually, he found one. What the fuck? What's going on? What the hell's going on? What was that? Did you see that?
No.
Like, the screen was, like, graphically glitching big time.
Oh no. Yes, is this on disc?
It is on disc, so maybe my disc is... Maybe it was not reading the disc right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know that Conroy, during his Wind Waker LP, that his disc had a bit of scratches on it, and it caused some events straight up not to work in game.
Well, yeah, that sometimes happens when you have a damaged disc. Like, my original PS2 copy of Final Fantasy X, let's just say there's a part where Yuna and one of the game's villains, Seymour, get married. Like, let's just say Yuna is forced into the marriage. There is this long stretch that you go without being able to save. First, so you first get the airship, then you have to fight a boss. And, like, right before fighting the boss, that is your last chance to save. The boss is freaking difficult. So, like, I fight the boss, and then, of course, you can't skip the cutscene, so you get a kind of long FMV of the wedding being set up, and then your party arrives to crash the wedding. And then you have to fight through a gauntlet of enemies that aren't really that easy. And then you finally make it to the top. And let's just say the cutscene at that point, at random points, the cutscene would play out, but then randomly, a line of text would appear showing that a character is gonna say something, but then the character wouldn't say their line, and the game would just hang.
Womp womp.
And the game from there was completely unplayable.
So it's soft lock, pretty much.
Yeah, it's soft locked. Like, the first time it happened, it went the farthest it ever went. And then after that, it would stop at even earlier lines. And let's just say, I actually rage quit the game, because I would have to go such a long stretch just to get back to the bad part, only to find out it was still not working.
That sucks.
Yeah. Eventually, GameStop was having a buy two, get two free sale on PS2, GameCube, and Xbox games, more or less just to clear out their inventory of GameCube and Xbox games. I actually got another copy of Final Fantasy X thanks to that, and the thing is, I wanted to trade in the original copy so I could get a little bit of money back. They thought I was returning the copy I had just bought, so I got a full refund, because they didn't listen.
Wow. Dollar for Merlin.
Mm-hmm. More than $1 for Merlin.
See, the thing with Sugar Conroy's Wind Waker disc is there was this island you had to sail to that looked like a dice of 3, like a dice that was turned over and had 3 on it. And you were supposed to attack all of the surrounding enemies from the area and claim the chest with the reward. And I forget what it was. It's probably a sea chart or a heart piece, something of that nature. But when he went to go to that island, the enemy straight up never loaded, so he couldn't access the chest.
But yeah, like I described, that shit can happen when you have a damaged disc.
Yeah, when he was walking around, he said, this might be a problem with my disc. Unfortunately, I can't go here. Maybe later on in the game, the enemies might come back, but for now, I'm just gonna go on. So, I think he did end up going back to the place and ended up loading in, but at that particular time of the game, you couldn't go back and do that. I remember with my Luigi's Mansion disc, you could actually take Luigi's Mansion out of the GameCube and it would still read the game for whatever reason.
That exact
And I
same
think it
thing
might.
happened while I was playing Star Wars Jedi Power Battles in the PS1. Let's just say that game's not easy, and I actually rage quit it, and I put in Alien Resurrection to play that game instead. But then, I was so fed up in the moment that I actually forgot to reset my PS1, and Jedi Power Battles kept running just minus the music. And then I started playing the game, and I was getting a bit better at it. And I started dominating the stage. So I actually took out the Alien Resurrection disc and put my freaking Star Wars disc back in. It was like I never even removed it.
Yeah, back when I was little and did that with Luigi's Mansion, I was so flabbergasted that it even worked that I walked around and it was working for a bit. And then when I opened a door to load in the next area, it was just completely dark void space and the lighting went all weird and the music cut out and it said, please insert the Luigi's Mansion game disc. And I was like,
Well,
whoa,
yeah, because I think when you
couldn't
open
load
the
the
disc
disc.
tray, you're only able to go to the places that the game is already loaded. And once you get to a point where the game isn't loaded, it'll either freeze or it'll give you the insert the disc message.
Yeah. It's weird is that you could insert another disc and then it'll load stuff from the disc and
Oh,
do that
what?
game. One time I got Super Paper Mario to work by bypassing a scratch on the disc. Basically, it wouldn't let me open the door to an area. So what I did is I took out the game, put in some other game. So when I opened the game and when it tried to load it, I took it out quickly and then placed the disc back in, and it somehow bypassed it and loaded the area anyways.
I mean, I know that a common tactic used with Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy IX is that either one, if you're trying to speed run the game, or two, you have a damaged disc and FMV won't play. All you had to do was open the disc lid and you would skip past the FMV.
That's kind of cool.
Sadly, it doesn't work with Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh,
And it's unfortunate because my disc 2 of Final Fantasy VIII freezes on FMV near the end of the disc. And I tried it on all three of my systems. There is no way to bypass it.
oh.
There is no, probably the only thing I could do is maybe try to buff out the scratch that causes it.
Did you ever do the freaking toothpaste thing or no?
The what?
Basically, there was this myth kind of going around, kind of like home, like you know how sometimes homes, like families, kind of have this thing where it's like, if you drink Coca-Cola when you're sick, you'll be better or something like that. Just like small little
Have I
things
tried
like
the
that.
toothpaste? No, I haven't tried it on that. Funny thing is, I had a copy of Thrillville I was trying to sell, and the disc didn't work at all, but then I did the toothpaste thing. At first it didn't work, but then I let the disc sit for a while, and then it actually did start working.
I used to do toothpaste and stuff like that to try to buff out the scratches and stuff. And it actually worked for a lot of my scratch discs until eventually the disc just got so
Until it
bad that it
what?
stopped reading.
Oh, what happened?
The toothpaste thing I did try on a few discs and it actually worked semi well. It took me a long time to figure out how to get it to work well, but yeah. So unfortunately, one time I put toothpaste on the disc and I tried to buff it out, but I accidentally put a little too much toothpaste. So when I tried to slide it into the Wii, it got stuck midway through. So I had to quickly unplug the Wii so it didn't scratch up the disc.
Oh, well, yeah, that's just a mistake. I thought you said that there was a side effect.
I don't think there's a side effect. It's just that
I mean, I
after
might
a
actually
while,
have to try that. I mean, when I had that problem with Final Fantasy VIII, it's like, thank God I had the PSN version. All I had to do was import my save file to the PS3, and then download the digital version, and I had to play the rest of the disc digitally.
I think it depends on what toothpaste you use too. Like, if it's the toothpaste with like little squares of, I don't know, whatever inside of it, that might actually scratch your disc. So you might want to use just like regular
Just
blue
a clean
toothpaste.
toothpaste, well, I do have it.
Oh yeah, that could probably work. And it's a very light coat of paint, and you have to be very gentle with the brush.
Yeah, and it has to be a very light amount. You know, it's weird. Once on the PS2, I have a game called Tie on the PS. Like, I have the whole Tie trilogy on the PS2. The first game, when I put the disc inside, it would not load past the very first loading screen. I didn't use toothpaste or anything. I just started blowing on the disc, and I wiped it down kind of hard. First attempt didn't really do anything, so I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to go back to the store to return this. I wiped it down again, but then I put it in the PS2. It started working like there was no problem. To this day, it still works. As if there was no fucking problem whatsoever.
There are many ways to roll a ball uphill.
So, Schneck, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but freaking I'm on YouTube, and somebody was saying I'm gonna get Captain Toad 3DS, even though I just got the Switch, and I wanted to know why. And some guy, a different guy, replied to me being like, because the Switch isn't portable enough. And I said, well, you could put the tablet in your pocket and the Joy-Cons in the other. And he said, not worth it. Yeah, and then he said the 3DS remains the best portable ever or something. I'm like,
someone's biased.
Yeah, it seems very biased. And what's weird is the guy has a 3DS XL. And what's weird is that the guy has a 3DS XL, which is the same size as the Switch. So, actually bigger than the Switch. So, it's biased.
You know, I knew that Channel 5 News was biased with the Republicans. I recently found out that CNN is biased with the Democrats.
Yeah, CNN is pretty biased.
Yeah, like, I remember when I was in my propaganda class, like, they had a whole list of news sources. There were the news sources that were biased towards one side, news sources that were biased towards another side, and then news sources that were in between. Which is the ones that which are the ones you should trust.
Yeah. If I were ever to make a news station, I would just want to try to be as little biased as possible, but of course it's almost impossible.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know it's like with the Killzone games. The thing that's kind of unique with the Killzone games is, you know how in a lot of, like, war games, you're always playing as the big burly heroes, and you fight the evil bad guys. Like, you're like America, fuck yeah, we're fighting the evil Russians or the evil people in the Middle East or something like that. In the Killzone games, it's the Vectans versus the Hellgas.
Yeah.
And even though the Hellgas are made out to be like space Nazis, the thing is the Vectans are freaking just as messed up in different ways. Like, it's almost like that. Like, no matter which side you choose, everyone has their problems. And then, of course, you get Spec Ops The Line, which actually does show you all the downsides of war.
Freaking YouTube changed the way their playlists work. So when you hit the playlist button, instead of asking you which playlist you want to put it in, it just auto puts it in. It's like, oh, this is the playlist you chose last time, so obviously you want it in this playlist.
That's stupid.
No, yeah, it's stupid. So you have to re-click it and being like, and instead of asking, like, oh, which one do you want it in instead, it's like a checklist of what you want it in. But if it's in another video, it'll already have a checklist. So if you uncheck it from that video, then it'll take the video out. But if you leave the check marks in, it'll just add a duplicate video into the playlist. So you have to go back and delete it.
Wah, wah.
It's one of the dumbest things ever. They basically ruined playlists.
I mean, I remember when you were able to randomize the video order in your playlists permanently. And
Yeah.
now all you can do is use the shuffle option. They don't let you randomize it anymore because that makes it better.
You want to show the same video over and over and over again. So freaking stupid.
Yeah, I was trying to do my freaking YouTube movies playlist with the stuff that I purchased on that transferred over from my freaking Ultraviolet account. And when I turn shuffle on, even though I have like over 150 fucking movies in the playlist, somehow the shuffle option keeps replaying movies I've already watched.
I know, it's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine if you have a shuffle option for maybe music, but if you want to, you should have an option to say no repeats or something like that.
Yeah. But no, removing features makes everything better.
Stupid. They removed so much stuff from YouTube. The only thing they brought back was the friends option from YouTube that it used to have.
They did?
YouTube back in the olden days was straight up a copy of MySpace. The only difference it was instead of posts about your life, it would be video posts.
Yeah.
It straight up was just MySpace.
You want to continue this in the next video?
Yeah, sure. Talk about some stupid YouTube decisions.